Well, hello again. My name is 𝘃𝗶𝗱𝗲 McKenzie, and I truly hope that I am still your favorite empowerment coach. And I want to continue with our Love Empowered series, if you will, because I think this is really important. And I know I told you that this is the first thing that you should do after a breakup, and it is. But let's be clear about what happens when we break up with somebody. Usually it's not a pretty thing. Even if it was amicable, even if we both agreed, there'll be some sadness. So the first thing you might do is cry, and that needs to be the truth. You might cry, you might tear up some photos, you might make some covert posts in social media. There's a lot of things that you're actually going to do before you take this first step. But listen, this step is really important. And a lot of people don't take this step. They just really don't. And they don't take it because people have given them advice and they say, oh, you should do this. And they say, okay. Or for whatever reason, they've never been taught how to break up, which you can learn because I did a whole video about it. Like, there are steps to a breakup. There's a reason why some people seem to be in the same relationship over and over and over again. And the reason why they're on this relationship carousel is because they don't do this thing. And this thing is so necessary, but guess what? This thing kind of gets shafted because, again, you've got people giving advice and they're saying that you need to do this and that crazy thing about how to get over somebody, you get under somebody else. Please don't get under somebody else. Nevertheless, some people take that advice. People take a lot of advice when there's a breakup. And here's one thing, listen, let me just do like a little micro lesson inside of this lesson, that if you're a person that is friends with someone going through a breakup, please do not say to them that it was their loss. Why don't you say that it was their loss? Because this person that you're talking to just left a relationship with someone that they cared about. They may have thought they were going to be with forever. They may have thought they found their soulmate. You have more than one soulmate. They may have thought that they found their soulmate. They may have thought they were dealing with their twin flame. You may have only one twin flame, but that's a dicey journey. Just FYI. Anyway. Home Alone face. So, to tell them, oh, it's their loss. Listen, nobody wants to hear that. That's just like when people die and you tell somebody, it's okay, they're in a better place. Listen, I don't really care about what place they're in. What I care about is that somebody that I love is no longer here. And the same thing with a relationship. No, the person is not dead, but they are no longer present in your life. And so you're going to be sad, even if the relationship was toxic. Yeah. So even if the relationship was toxic, you're going to grieve this relationship. You're going to feel sad. You're going to reflect. You're going to have memories. You're going to be angry. You're going to go through all of those stages of grief. And people shouldn't actually call them stages of grief because it makes it sound like they go boom, 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 boom. They don't go boom, 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 boom. They actually go boom, 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 boom. Right about now, there should be like a musical interlude happening, right? But in that, if you're supporting somebody that's going through a breakup, let them grieve. Let them think about how they feel. Let them be sad. Let them write crazy posts on Facebook. Not too crazy. If you're a good friend, don't let them get too crazy. but let them go through that process, even if the relationship was toxic. Somehow people believe that because a relationship was toxic, you should get over it faster. No, you'll probably take longer to get over it. But anyway, like I said, one of the first things you should do after you do all of this, actually, this is the thing that you should do. And I'm really tired of seeing people skip this step. Really tired. Like, I look at people, even celebrity relationships, they skip this step. And then they wonder why they get back on the relationship carousel or the roller coaster. And they're like, oh, I want off this ride. But you didn't want off this ride when you jumped onto this ride, and you can take that any way that you like. Okay. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the first thing that you should do after a breakup. And this is after the first thing, after all the other things that we've talked about. And I get it. You probably watch celebrity relationships and you see them go from person to person. Listen, one of the things that really concerns me about the way Kim Kardashian is handling her divorce with Kanye West is that there is now a Pete Davidson. And Kim has had a habit of doing this. She breaks up with somebody and she's off to the next fairly quickly. So if you're watching her example, please trust and believe she's not the example that you need. Okay. Kim went to another relationship so fast. In fact, I think actually she went to her relationship with Kanye so fast that she was still married. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, she's still married to Pete. I mean, she's still, whoa, maybe I'm psyching. Probably not. But she's still married to Kanye. She was still married to whomever she was married to before she and Kanye got back together or whatever it is. When that happened, listen, the first thing that I need you to do is not be like celebrities, is not listen to what your friends say, is not listen to what your Aunt Betty Jean told you, to not listen to the advice that your cousin Robert Earl gave you. What I need you to do as the first step after all the steps that we've talked about, I need you to commit to being by yourself. Here's why. Because, as I said to you earlier, you're going to grieve this relationship, and that's okay. But here's something that you miss when you move off to the next so quickly. You miss the lessons. And listen, I consider myself to be a pretty evolved person. And so I understand that there are lessons in things that we go through. And I want my lessons because I don't want to keep repeating the same situations. And yes, there has been a question. Somebody will say, well, can't you heal while you're can you heal from one relationship while you're in another? Well, yes, you can. You absolutely can if there is space for your healing. See, the truth of the matter is that Kim Kardashian should not be in another relationship right now. And I say that as a relationship professional. She should not be in another relationship right now. If the relationship with Kanye was as devastating as she purports it to be, what she needs to be doing is chilling with herself and a therapist and whomever else she decides to involve in her process and understanding why she chose this person. Perhaps maybe she needs to look at why she's chosen all of these people. Because listen, even though I understand that sometimes relationships are not supposed to last forever, okay? They're just not. One of the things that's really critical for me as a coach and a relationship coach at that, and all the other coaches that I am, is that if we grow together, we can go together. So when somebody stops evolving or allowing you to evolve, then we shut the relationship down. That would be a great place for that Law and Order, clank, clank. You know what I'm talking about. But in that, I have yet to see, and I don't know her personally, so if you know, okay, great. But I have yet to see a process, and this is a family that puts everything in social media. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, because there hasn't been some big announcement or a photo or an Instagram post about how therapy is going, there's more than likely not therapy. There's more than likely not coaching that's happening. And so as happy as she is with Pete, I have a question. Is she happy with Pete because he's Pete, or is she happy with Pete because he's not Kanye? And that's what happens a lot of times when we get out of dysfunctional relationships, is that sometimes we may, galvanize. What is the word I'm looking for? Attract. There we go. We might be attracted to people that just simply are not like the chaos and the drama that we've been with. I'm not saying that Pete Davidson isn't a good person. I'm not saying that down the road they couldn't have an amazing relationship. I'm saying that when you come out of a breakup, take a moment. Now, moments vary. Sometimes people get over things faster than other people do. So I'm not saying she needs to take a year to herself and journal and I don't know, take a trip into the mountains of Nepal. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it is necessary for us to take a moment when a relationship ends. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made, me, the relationship coach. Although, was I a relationship coach then? Okay, it was coming. But one of the biggest mistakes I ever made at the end of a relationship, even though, listen, I was done, it was just a matter of making the breakup official, so to speak, and all of that. I didn't grieve the end of a relationship, and I hopped right into another one. No. Don't do that. Like, don't do that. Because the challenge was that because I was coming off of this relationship, my perspective was different. And because this person, the new person, was giving me attention, interest, effort, that's the word I'm looking for. This person was giving me effort that I hadn't gotten from the person I broke up with. I let a lot of things slide. I did not do my due diligence in that relationship. Okay, so what am I saying to you? Same thing. I'm not saying that you have to take 6 months to a year. I'm saying that even if you took 30 days and said, you know what, I'm going to dig into this relationship. I'm going to dig into the lessons. I'm going to see if I can come out better on the other side of this. I'm going to employ a therapist. I'm going to go sit down with a coach. Don't just tell me that you started going to the gym and going to church and that was how you got over a breakup. No, there are some things deep within you, answers to questions that you need, and it's time to go within and unlock them. And you don't unlock them by moving on to the next person unless, caveat, unless that person is uniquely aware of your situation and willing to be what you need. See, the unfortunate about someone like a Pete Davidson, he probably thinks he's having a full-blown relationship with Kim Kardashian. Hey, she left Kanye, she's with me now, winning. Actually, Pete should have some real questions. Sorry? Not sorry? Pete should have questions. And I will tell you that it's, am I saying, okay, I know somebody's gonna say, is Pete the rebound? I'm not saying Pete's the rebound. I'm saying that there are some lessons that Kim obviously needs to learn as we are now on her third marriage. There are some things that she needs to learn, and needing to learn lessons doesn't make you a bad person. Listen, I wouldn't be here talking to you if I hadn't taken the time to learn some lessons and to unlearn some things that I had learned throughout my life. I wouldn't even be here. Wouldn't you be sad? I know you'd be sad. This is you being sad. Okay. So what I'm saying to you is that the first thing you need to do after a breakup is take time to yourself. It could be 21 days. It could be 30 days. I don't know, 6 months, a year, whatever you feel within you that you need to do, but resolve yourself to being alone and not just to go to the gym and to go back to church. I'm really tired of people telling me, hey, I just went through a breakup, but I started going back to church and to the gym. Listen, those can be outward things. I need you to, until you can answer the question of why did I get into a relationship with this person and why did I stay in a relationship with this person with more red flags than the UN waving around them, then you haven't done the inner work. And the problem with not doing the inner work is that it always wants to be done. So if you don't do it with Kanye, you'll do it with Pete. If you don't do it with Pete, you're going to do it with Jason. If I don't know, I'm just throwing out names. If you don't do it with Jason, you're going to do it with Mike. Like, it's going to keep going because it demands to be learned. There's a movie that I love. It's called The Fault in Our Stars. And there's a quote in there that says, pain demands to be felt. Well, I'm going to tell you, lessons demand to be learned. And if you want to get off that relationship roller coaster, merry-go-round, carousel, whatever, you're going to have to start learning your lessons. Now, this is not where you learn a lesson as to, there's no lesson in someone abusing you. Let me go ahead and caveat that. There's no lesson to that, okay? They had no right to treat you any way but well. And in fact, if this is something that you're dealing with, we're going to put some resources down below that can help you get out of that situation, okay? But this is about when a relationship doesn't work and there were challenges, non-abusive challenges, if you will. This is your opportunity to learn about yourself and why you allowed someone to continually, remember we talked about acute versus chronic, someone to bring chronic dysfunction and toxicity into your life. If you can't answer that question, you have not done the work. And it is unfair to anyone else that you're dealing with if you don't. I had to really think about what I was going to say there, because it's really important that you understand that the lessons that you have within you are so valuable, and they will take you places that you moving on in the real world, as we call it, won't. Listen, there's something to be learned from all our relationships, be it a romantic breakup, a platonic breakup, professional breakups. Anytime someone leaves our lives, there is a lesson that we can learn. You just have to decide you want to learn it. And listen, that might take 7 days, and then you're ready. But remember, you've got to be able to answer that question. And if you haven't answered that question, you haven't done the work, which lets me know that you might be doing all the other things, but you haven't done this first thing I feel you should do after a breakup. And that's all I have to say about that. My name is 𝘃𝗶𝗀𝗲, and I am a speaker, teacher, author, and coach, here to remind you to always be your own superhero, and to thank you guys so much for loving and learning and considering that you might have been doing breakups all wrong with me. See you on the next video. Oh yeah, like, subscribe, share, all the things. See you on the next video.